good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of LKD Talks. My name is Emmanuel LKD, and let's unplug and be real for a sec. Now, today we have a very special guest. Please welcome the big dog, big Czar Josh. Yeah.
It's good. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you for having me on the pod.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. I can't complain. Had a pretty chill day, and I'm just ready to chop it up, man. I'm ready to kick it with you, bro.
All right, sweet. Yeah, like I've known Josh for a while, but this is our first quote unquote face-to-face conversation.
Yeah.
Like I've known him like ever since I think since Culture Villains started up, I think. Or whenever the chat popped up.
Okay, yeah. That was like pre-COVID, pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago.
A few years ago. Yeah, we've known each other for a minute. All right, Josh, could you introduce yourself about who you are, what you do, and why you do it?
Yeah, man. So my name is Czar Josh. I am a rapper. I'm a wordsmith, rhyme sayer from Atlanta, Georgia. You can see the hat. And what I do is I rap, making music for real people going through real things, for like folks that are like growing up and just trying to find their way in the world. That's the type of music that I make. So if you're interested or like you can kind of relate to that, then feel free to check me out.
Awesome. Just short and sweet to the point, man. All right, sounds
Sure.
good. So how did you know that you wanted to make music and just rap?
Really just like my background, bro. Like my family is like very musical. From like my parents, like that's where I get my musical prowess or like this vibe from is from my parents and my brother. Like my mom, like she grew up listening to rock music and like pop, like different types of genres of music. And my dad was a hip hop head, my brother's a hip hop head. So like, it kind of just got put inside me, like got like fused inside of my genetic being to be a musical person as well. So like that's kind of how I kind of came into being a musical person. And like just growing up in Atlanta, like wow, like this town was kind of growing and like being the hub of hip hop and rap music during the late 90s to the 2000s. And you just hearing like these different rappers blow up. Like we all tried to be rappers growing up, and I just happened to be good at it. So that's kind of how my journey started. I started rapping in high school around like 15 years old. Like at first I was terrible. I sucked. But like as time progressed, you kind of learn to perfect your craft and get better and get better. So that's kind of what happened with me.
Oh, that sounds good, man. That sounds good. See, just from what you said about how your mom being into rock and your dad's side being into hip hop, I love how you just said that it fused into your genetic being. Like, bro, if that's not wordsmithy, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it was like something like Dragon Ball Z, bro. Like,
bro,
like
I was thinking that too. Huge, like your parents really said fusion, huh?
No, facts. Yeah,
that's funny.
That was definitely it. Like that was my birth. It was that.
They just touched fingers and boom, you were born.
Yep. No, for real. For real.
Funny, man.
Yeah, man.
So the meaning behind the name Czar Josh, why Czar specifically instead of King, for example?
Oh man, so like that's actually a funny story. So like my first rap name was terrible. We don't have to like go into that here on the pod, but it was not cool. It was very corny, and so like what I wanted to do was come up like with a rap name that kind of gave like royalty, like. And there's a lot of rappers that are named King this or Prince that or whatever, but there weren't like a lot of people named Czar. It's like what I did was like I was trying to find my rap name. I went on Google and I was like names for royalty. So I saw like King, Prince, Duke, And then I saw Czar, and I was like, hold on, but like the czars are like from like Russia, like in a like known to
Mhm.
be like ruthless and like they ruled their countries with like brute force. And I was like
Okay.
that's kind of how I approach rap. That's kind of like how
Okay.
I like, kind of present myself and like from a rap perspective. So I was like, let me call myself a czar because there aren't a lot of people calling themselves that.
Okay.
And then like you kind of think about like movies like Scarface and The Godfather, like they're called the czar, like the drug
Oh,
czars or
okay.
whatever. So yeah, it was kind of like a cool little play on words.
Okay.
Um, just trying to show people and tell people that like when it comes to this rap thing, I'm nothing to get messed with.
Yeah,
So
bro, that's fast. Cause like you are a beast, bro. Like
thank
no
you, man.
BS, bro. You are a beast on it.
Same, brother. Same. I appreciate that. Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So why not Duke Josh?
No, absolutely not. No,
Big
that's
big dog,
crazy.
big dog, big Duke, big Duke.
Oh man, that is nuts. Nah, that's wild.
Bro, it's actually kind of crazy because um like on the mic you're such a beast, but like talking to you in person, you seem like just like a chill, chill person. But then like on the mic you're so different. I'm like, yo, this like it goes hard. Like
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I feel like with like rap, I feel like my persona is kind of changing a little bit, and like
mhm,
it's kind of starting to morph into like who I am as a person, like being a more peaceful, like more zen person.
mhm,
And so like my newer raps, like the stuff that hasn't been like released yet, is kind of more like kind of chill and peaceful and kind of grounding. Little sneak peek slash spoiler here. Like I do have like a lo-fi tape kind of coming out where like it's just like very kind of chill and relaxing. And I feel like that's just who I am naturally. But like when the time arises, like when the need comes, like you will get the hype and like very like brute force rap czar again too. So kind of a combination of both, you know.
got it. Yeah, I feel you with that. I feel you with that. It's cool how music can be I don't want to call it a persona, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily want to call it an escape either, but
Yeah,
it's like a cool outlet to show different sides of you.
yeah, like just to express yourself, you know, because like we're humans, like we're complex. We have like different like sides of ourselves and layers. So like we're not like just like one sided. We have like different sides of ourselves that we can express and share with people. So that's what I try to do with the music, you know.
That's good. Like today, bro. So last time I listened to Long Live Us was when it came out in 2021. And then I took
Okay.
a listen back to it again today to, get ready, get hype and stuff like
Word.
that. And then I was listening through it today, and then I realized like, dang, like I didn't realize how many songs I recognized,
Okay.
like because of all the content that you put around all of these songs. Like, bro, you've been putting in a lot of work to keep the
I'm
songs
trying.
fresh and relevant, man. Yo, I honestly applaud you for that. Like,
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
so
you. Thank
like with that then, so how do you kind of keep that fire and passion burning? Because sometimes there are artists who just release an album, but then they
you.
don't
Just
touch on it. Like honestly, I'm an example. Like I actually dropped an album last year, but I haven't really been uh going back to it to keep it fresh or relevant. So I see you doing it. Then I listen back to the album. I'm like, oh, woke up and I'm like, oh,
it's copacetic. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for sure. I think a big part of it has to do with my team. Like Travis, he's the head of culture. Like he'd be honest about like doing content making sure that we push our music properly, and like just um having ways to connect with the people that support us, because they're like real people that take time out of their day to spend their hard-earned cash to buy stream our music. So you would definitely want to stay connected. I think for Long Live Us specifically, like how that came out, um like that came out in November of 2021. So like one, it came out in the middle of the pandemic, and then it came out during the holiday season of 2021. So like it's kind of a hard time to push a project during that
Mhm.
time. And then 2022, which is a tough year for me personally. I was going through a lot of stuff in my personal life, so I couldn't really push the content the way I wanted to in 2022. So now I'm finally in a place where I'm able to like give people's attention, because it's not the holiday season, and I have the equipment and the tools to make the content that I want for the songs that I've like just been wanting to do since 2021. So it's
Mm.
almost like a year and a half later, but I finally have the tools to make the content that I want for the album, and now it's clicking. I'm like, okay, cool. So that's what I like. That's the full journey of Long Live Us and how we got here. But yeah, it was basically that.
Okay, that's cool. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay. Yeah, because it's dope too that with you keeping the songs relevant, and like of course like you said that you did have some stuff happen, so you weren't
Yeah,
able to push it, but it's still like it sounds new, if that
for
makes
sure.
sense.
Hey, word. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank
Yeah, man, you're welcome. Like there's a lot of lines that stick with me, like uh oh man, forgive me if I butcher it. It's like down south, dirty water, did it, did
you.
it. Like
Yeah.
I heard that on What You Know. I was listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is on this album? I thought this was a new song.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, funny thing about that song, like that's actually one of my mom's favorite songs. Like that song was actually based off of a song that I made in high school. That kind of had like a similar hook, but the song was terrible in high school. Sorry, my bad. But like what I chose to do was like recreate the concept and like have a cooler beat, and I remade the song like for her and put it on the project. But, like that song, the original concept of that went back all the way to like 2014.
Oh,
So
okay. Dang.
yeah. So it was like a
Okay.
long type of story there, but
It's a long story, but like, yo, that's dope that you made that for your mom.
yeah, for sure.
And like, so with music too, after listening to it more and more, like after listening to your album more and more, and okay, so I'm gonna kind of try to connect these two together. But
Okay.
I remember when I released an episode where I talked about how I try to overcome my stuttering, and
Right.
then I didn't know that you had a stutter as well,
Yeah.
that you have or and overcome. And like after listening to Long Live Us, like Heights and other songs that you had, I started hearing songs about like, or I started hearing lines about how you said, yeah, like, it's funny how I have a stutter, but I can still, like, kill these rappers or, just eat it, just go crazy, just go crazy.
Yeah,
Like I'm butchering,
for
my
sure.
memory is butchered right now. I don't know
Yeah,
why, because I'm on a spot, but, but like,
word
I'm just hearing that. I'm like, dang, man, that's really inspirational.
for sure. Um, yeah, like I feel like I'm trying to think like where to start with the stutter. So, have you ever seen the movie? Um, this is a spoiler alert for the plot of this movie. This movie is called The King's Speech. Have you seen that movie before?
I haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
You gotta watch that movie. I'm pretty sure it's on Prime Video. But The King's Speech, right? It's about King George VI, I think, and he's like the king of Great Britain during World War II, and he has a stutter. He has a speech impediment, and
Okay.
like that's a problem because he has to give speeches to the people of Great Britain during World War II, and like they're getting like bombed and stuff by the Germans during this whole time, and he has to give speeches to like his people.
Okay.
And the movie's about the the speech therapist that he sees to prepare to
Mm.
give this big speech at the end of the movie. And there's a scene where the speech therapist has King George play music and then read a book out loud. But
Wait,
like,
could you repeat that? Like you said, there's a scene where he listens to music and reads a book out loud.
yeah, so his speech therapist makes King George like listen to music with headphones on and then read a book out loud. And so like King George, he's like, "Wow, this is dumb. This shit, like, what does it have to do with me saying this speech is stupid?" And when he does it, he puts the headphones on and he reads the book. Speech therapist tells him, "Bro, the whole time you're reading, you didn't slip up not once. You were completely fluent." And
Oh,
like to this day, like the research, the studies and stuff that have to do with speech pathology, that they can't explain the link between music and speech fluency. And so, like, you see a lot of musicians who have speech impediments when they sing, when they rap, it completely goes away. And maybe it has something to do with the rhythm, the beat, the musicality, like the part of the brain that controls your music and listening versus the part of the brain that controls speech. But whenever there's music involved, the speech impediment will go away temporarily while you do your music. And so I feel like that's why like you're able to do your music fluently and I'm able to do my music fluently, but like nobody can really like fully explain like why that happens. And like they're still doing research like as far as like how the brain works with speech and music, but like nobody can explain it. And so I feel like it's weird and it's like a superpower for us because like
yeah.
we're able to kind of like live freely in this world of music. But I feel like that's like whenever like folks like they talk to me about my speech impediment and my music, I always talk about that movie and that scene. Like that is why that is the scene that perfectly explains my rapping ability. So yeah,
Wow, that's crazy. I did
yeah,
not know that. Yo, thanks for sharing that.
yeah.
That's
So
like,
oh, sorry, like y'all who are watching have to watch the King's Speech. I'm pretty sure it's on Prime Video or like some streaming service. It's a very good movie. That's what
King's Speech.
it's
Wow. Dang, that's that like I'm just letting that marinate and sit for a little bit, just thinking about it. Like that's actually crazy.
yeah,
That's
man.
actually yeah, go on.
The brain is a crazy thing to like to play with and deal with and stuff. So yeah, it's
Wow.
very nice.
That that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is like I hadn't man, that's crazy. Like I'm still processing that right now. It's like you're trying to think about all the times where I'm listening to music or just rapping over it or singing or whatever. There's no stutter, there's no pause or anything like that. It's just go. It's just go mode. It's just like, wow. Dang, I had no
Yeah,
idea that that was a real thing. I thought it was just kind of like, oh, like I built up this persona of confidence, so or whatever. But maybe that could be it too. But yeah.
yeah, for sure. Like how did you like how did you realize that you had a speech impediment, and how did you learn to like condition yourself to deal with it throughout like your life to the point where you started to do music?
Oh man, I would say, oh, let's see. That's a good question. That was a good question. I was gonna ask you that, but you asked me that first. I was
Oh, oh,
like, ooh.
sorry, bro.
It's all good, man.
This is
It's
your
all good.
show.
Hey man,
My
you're
bad.
good. You're free to ask questions, man. It's a
Okay,
conversation. You're totally good, man. You're
for
totally
sure.
good.
Okay.
That's a great question. I think growing up, I was always really shy.
Okay.
I was really shy and I didn't know how to put words together
Yeah.
to sound good. Like, I guess I just never had confidence like that either.
Word.
So for me, like for what I think is why I had a stutter is from a lack of confidence. But I also know that my dad stutters as well. Like he has a stutter,
Okay.
he has a speech impediment. So it's definitely genetic, you know,
Yeah.
it's genetic too. And for for me to overcome that, I just saw music as an escape. Okay, so here's actually a funny story of how I got into music. Do you know the YouTube channel Epic Rap Battles of History?
Yes. I love that. I love that channel. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I would binge watch their videos and then I would kind of rap along with it. And then
Okay.
I was thinking like I kind of want to listen to real rap, you know, because it's just comedy entertainment rap.
Yeah.
So then I started listening to other artists, and I was like, okay, like I kind of want to try this, like, you know, want to give it a try.
For
And
sure.
then I started writing stuff, and then I was in, you know, the zone, and then I just said, okay, let me find a beat real quick, and then I just like I just can't explain it. Kind of like that, you know, King speech scene. It just flowed. I'm like, this is nice, and it feels good too because it's like I'm dominating this. I'm confident in this. I
For
mean,
sure.
you know, at the time I sucked, but for me at the moment, I was like, oh, I feel great,
You going
and
crazy.
yeah, I'm going like goblin mode or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it formed for me. It was like a newfound confidence, and then adapting that into real life, you know, non-music. I think I just had to slow down with speaking
Yeah.
to kind of help overcome it. Just kind of realize that it's okay to take pauses because I had the type of stuttering where I would just keep repeating those vowel sounds or consonant
Oh, okay.
sounds
Yeah. Yeah.
before saying the word, like like, you know, like that type of stuttering.
I got
So
you.
now I've realized it's okay to pause
Yeah.
and it's okay. Like like I'm doing it right now. Like I'm just like I just caught myself doing it right now, just to pause and just speak slowly and stuff like that.
Word. That's awesome. Okay. Word.
So
That's
now to
dope.
reflect the question back on you, man, how did you uh learn that music was your outlet for escaping stuttering per se, and how are you overcoming stuttering right now?
Um, how did I figure out music was my escape? I don't know, like just felt comfortable. Like I felt comfortable and free doing music. And like music has always been like, I don't know, like it's always been like a way that I've seen the people around me express themselves. And when I started to do music and I realized that there was no stutter, there was no speech impediment, I was like, wow, like this is actually like a sanctuary. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So um, I feel like that happened like around the time I told you when like when I started to rap was like 15 years old around that time. I just started like playing around with my computer, on my Fruity Loops, and
mhm,
we're just trying to see like like what all I can do with it. Then as um, like I kind of grew with music and I started challenging myself like lyrically and stuff and realized that like like there's really no bounds, no restraints, no like I'm like I feel like I'm fine. I have a legitimate power here, so I feel like that was when it really became like this is my thing, this is my lane. Um, as far as the second question, how do I overcome it? Like I don't feel like I am. I feel like it's always going to be a part of me, and I feel like that took me a very long time to accept.
mm,
But I feel like I don't know. Like I feel like it took a very long time to accept, but it's one heck of a story and one heck of a testimony. to share to people. You know what I mean?
Mm. Mhm.
Like, cause like people don't realize like what we have to go through just to like speak and get words out. Like the thoughts and like the process that goes on. Like, oh, I need to slow down and to make sure my
Mm.
body is calm. And like make sure I pronounce this word a certain way, or like this phrase. Like maybe I don't need to use a consonant. Maybe need to use a vowel sound instead in order to get it like
Mm.
people don't think that much when they talk. They just talk.
Right.
But for us, is like there's like strategy and planning in the words that we say. I feel like that helps with music and songwriting too. So like when you write your song or you create your song, like you know that the words you're saying are all are on purpose and intentional
Mm.
because you have to think. Um, so I feel like how I deal with it in my daily life, well, like thankfully where I'm from is the South, so like we all talk slow down here, so it's kind
Okay.
of like that kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. But kind
Good.
of like how you said, like just like kind of calming down, slowing myself down, like reminding myself where I am, what the setting is, building my confidence up, and like not putting too much thought into things to where the anxiety takes over.
Mm.
But kind of just realizing that like they're just people, like regular people. There's no reason to like get in my head like, oh, I hope I don't slip up, or I hope I don't um like I hope the speech doesn't um like get jacked up or whatever, you know. So
Mhm.
it's like the whole process is like just encouraging yourself, reminding yourself that you're human and they're human, and just taking
Mhm.
your time and not trying to put too much thought into it is how I handle my stutter personally. But
Mm. That's good. That's good. Did you ever
yeah, man.
feel do you ever feel alone when you would stutter in front of people and just not want to speak at all? Because I've definitely
Oh,
felt like that.
man, yeah, let's talk. That's a good question. Yeah, let's talk about it. Like, especially on like really bad days when you already had a bad day. Like when you go to get some food in the drive-through, and then like you try to say what you want, and you stutter in the drive-through, like, and you feel like really like this is the worst day ever. I've definitely had a couple of those days. Um, but like you just had to like one thing that I've had to do for myself is like just remind myself that I can't help it. I can't
Mm.
do anything about it. I can't change it. This is who I am, and I'm a human being with this problem, this issue. You know what I mean? And there's some people, you know, when you're gonna be jerks and like treat you a certain way. Majority of people are just going to like not even think anything about it, and
Mm.
like he gets a big deal. Like they'll be like, "Oh, that's kind of weird," and then they go on about their day. You know what I mean? So it's just I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you just gotta like you gotta show a lot of grace for yourself and like not be so hard on yourself because the majority of people don't really care. Um,
Mhm.
but how do you handle it, bro?
Man, I remember like just back in like school, like elementary school, middle school, high school, even sometimes. I just didn't want to say anything because I didn't want people to
Okay,
judge me,
yeah,
like of how I would sound and stuff like that.
right,
And because I would think heavily on that low minority of people who would judge me. You know what I mean? Like I would think
okay,
heavily on
yeah,
that. I would think heavily on the negatives side of things and be like, oh man, I don't want them to just say like just spit it out, stuff like that. Like that stuff.
yeah,
I would hate to hear that. And I don't think I
yeah.
have
Me
heard
too.
it, but like I would hate to hear that if I'm in the middle of saying something and they just say just spit it out. I'm like, oh my goodness,
Nah,
no. That's
we're
so,
gonna have to fight. Like we're gonna go outside and
no.
fight real quick because like
I'll speak with my fist.
yeah, exactly.
Man, well, like that's and then yeah, I mean, I feel you too with the stuttering never going away. Like,
Yeah,
I definitely just have. I think we do get in our heads a little bit as well. I mean,
yeah,
for me, I get in my head a little bit as well. I don't think like that anymore. That's how I used to think when I was younger.
right,
But
right.
I would be lying if I said that there are some days where I just don't want to talk because
Yeah,
I've had a bad day, or I just like I don't want you to have to hear me, quote unquote struggling to get words out.
mm, for sure, for sure. Like so, like there has been like this one trend. Well, it's not a trend, but I've seen like people who do have like speech problems, like they just learn to sign. It's like they learn sign language instead. And I
Oh,
thought about like doing that too, you know. So like on days where I don't want to talk to people, I just sign and it's like it's kind of chill. So
okay.
I don't know, like that's an option. It's an option.
Oh, it's now. Okay. Okay. Just be like,
Yeah, yeah, but like I don't want to talk. Well, like this is not real signing, so like no disrespect to anyone that may be watching, but like this is an example of like you not wanting to like go through the problem of having your speech impediment show up is if you just like sign and like kind of communicate that way. But yeah,
mm, I feel you
yeah,
with that. And I don't know if you ever do this when you try to get words out, but sometimes for me, when I try to get words out, uh, my face will take a different shape to try to get words out. Like I'll
yeah.
try to like get words out like this way or whatever, but or sometimes I'll try to move my hand to like be like I'm gonna say this or try to
Okay,
talk with my
yeah,
hands. Like I think for me that's how I kind of get the words out because it's kind of like
yeah,
your hands are going to a beat if that makes sense, and it's like the
yeah,
music thing.
exactly.
Like, do
Hmm.
you think, have you ever done anything like that? Sometimes I would just take a step two to get some words out and just do weird motions with in the body or the face. Like, have you ever done something like that to get words out?
Yeah. So like my stutter is kind of what I call like block based. So like for me, like what keeps me from saying certain words is like there's an actual block that I can't get the
Mm.
sound out, and there's no explanation. Like it's completely like neurological. So like there's no explanation as to like why I can't say an A sound off rip or an E sound off rip or an I
Mm.
sound. Like there's a block, and so like when I try to say those sounds, like my face will like my face will look like it's convulsing, and I can't control it. And so like what I try to do to kind of circumvent that is learn more words and like try to start
Mm.
what I'm trying to say with a different phrase. And so like that's kind of like how I learned how to kind of get around my speech impediment was like learn more words and more phrases to express what I'm trying to say because I literally cannot say this word right now. I can't. And
Okay.
like I'd be trying to like communicate that with people, but they don't get it because they don't stutter. But like you know what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah,
like this sound is just not gonna happen right now. So I'm
man.
gonna say, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
dang, that's a cheat code. I would have never thought about finding a different word to say because like I'll just be sitting there like face all
just trying
scrunched up
to.
and everything, just trying to get the word out. Like
I
I'm trying to
feel
say igloo or whatever, and I'm just like
yep.
igloo.
Hmm. Yeah, man. Like so let me ask you this: like how like has there ever been a point in time where you had to deal with people like just assuming that you had like you had like a problem per se, like you weren't bright, you weren't smart because of your speech impediment.
Ooh, that's good. That's a good question. I mean, I've had I remember talking to my grandma, and like I don't mean to call her out on this or anything, but
Mhm.
she would say stuff like just pray it out, stuff like that. Like just
Oh
pray
man,
that
okay.
the stuttering goes away. And like I don't know how I felt about that. I was just like, okay, like I don't know if that'll work,
Yeah.
but like I mean, I could pray for confidence. I could pray for different ways around it, but like. that was kind of like, I don't want to say it was, it's not necessarily negative. Like she had good intentions,
Yeah.
but it kind of rubbed me the wrong way in a little bit. But I'm not, like calling her out on that or anything like that. But I hope that
Mhm.
makes sense with what I was trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, first and foremost, like, I'm sorry you had to go through that, man. That's like that. That sounds like it hurt. Like it sounds like it. I had a pretty, yeah, like that's like that hurt you when she said that. But yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of people that like don't know like what like they don't know enough about what a speech impediment is, how it works, how it affects the
Hmm.
brain, how it affects like how you speak and talk. And so like there's a lot of people that just assume that there's something wrong with you. When in reality, like you have like this problem with your speech that like there's still a neurologist and scientists that are still doing research on. Like
Hmm.
there was they just had they came out with a documentary. I forgot what it was called, but like they had a campaign about a documentary like right before the pandemic, and they were like going around the country showing the documentary in different places, screening it. And like they had posted this graphic, and it said that like majority of the research done in speech pathology was done in like the last 20 years or something like that. It's very new
Hmm.
and very recent that like we are starting to learn more and more about speech problems and patterns and um, like that sort of thing. So like there's a lot of people that just assume or like write you off as like, oh, like there's something wrong with you, like you're slow, like you're this or that. And that's not the case. Like you just
Hmm.
have a speech problem that like nobody can explain. So you're kind of left with having to deal with it, you know? And
Hmm.
like nobody really understands it. You have to explain it to people. Um,
Right.
so I feel like that's kind of like very unique across the bear, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting to hear. Yeah. Like, so wait, so then just to reflect the question back at you, have you had someone or people approach you and say that you were slow or whatever?
yeah, man. Like I think like I probably experienced the entire range of things. So like I've had people call me slow, people call me the R word,
Oh
I've
no,
people yeah,
man,
and
I'm
it's like
sorry.
that didn't like one like that's not right to call somebody like say if that was a person's real condition, it's still really terrible to say that to somebody. That's
Yeah,
very awful.
yeah, that
Um,
is.
but like, of course, that wasn't the case with me. Like, I'm like very like competent and smart. Like I've always like been one of the brightest kids in my class growing up. Like all throughout school, in the college, in the grad school. I'm very bright. You know what I mean? So like those
Mhm.
are the issues. Just that I've always had a speech issue. So like I've been caught like a full range of things. Just like people not knowing what a problem is or like how speech works, things of that nature. Um, Usually, like with my experience, the majority of the negative comments have come from people that are a little bit more seasoned, like like our parents' age, grandparents' age, and
Mhm.
that's kind of disappointing, you know. But I mean, it is what it is, man. Like you learn, like definitely learn to have thick skin. Learn to have thick skin, and you learn to like not to take things personally and realize that you can't control
Mhm.
like this. You can't control everything, and you just kind of like learn how to go through life while taking care of yourself. You know, so
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah,
yeah,
like when people do kind of label you or just, label people like us, or just, just assume. I think, like, I want to say, I guess it's kind of like 50-50, where half of it is like they think they're better than you, or half of it is just like they seriously just
Yeah.
don't know. Like my grandma, for example. I still love you, grandma. Uh I always will. I
Yeah.
always will love my grandma. Like I didn't mean anything bad by it, but she just didn't know. She just,
Yeah,
she was
yeah,
ignorant. It wasn't like I'm better than you, so you better pray that out. It wasn't anything like that. It was just like she just didn't know. And I feel like what's interesting too is I had a conversation with someone else that just in general, when it comes to, speech impediments or mental illness, I mean, immigrant parents don't really know too much
yeah,
about this
yeah.
stuff. Like, I'm guessing, did you have immigrant parents, or were you born and raised here?
Um, uh, on how so like my family was we're in the South, so like there's a lot of misconceptions and like lack of knowledge in the South too, and not necessarily due to anything, but it's just like people in country. So
Mhm.
like it's just that. So like folks in country, like my family is black, but like we have been in the South my entire life. So like you're dealing with people that are just like country and just don't know. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, got it. Got it. Yeah, because I don't want to assume that you were like from an immigrant household or anything.
Oh no
But
no no.
like I guess that's just how it is with parents and grandparents in general. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
they're not really too tuned in on mental health or just anything new, I guess. Any new
Yeah,
research,
yeah.
which isn't their fault, but at the same time, I mean, it
Yeah.
could be their fault. I don't know. Is, is
I
their
don't
fault
know,
for not
man.
going on? Their fault for not Googling it? I don't know. No, 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 it's no one's fault. That's just how it is.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like the age of like researching and looking into things that are going wrong with your kids is kind of new. Like I feel like we just started like we as this like the society that we live in, like as far as getting the therapy and like learning more about ourselves and like the disorders and things that we have, I feel like that's all like still like relatively new. Like it's been happening maybe the last 20, 25 years. People starting to get more into that type of stuff. So the fact that our parents were on that wave, the grandparents were on that wave, like you can kind of understand why. It's because like this is not the world that they grew up in or lived in. But now like
Yeah,
we're starting to get more progressive and like learn more about these different type of things. So
right. Yeah, like in a way, it is kind of it's a blessing for us,
yeah.
and it's a I don't know where I was trying to go. I was trying to say it's a blessing and a curse for us, but that doesn't make sense. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I guess curse in a way where it's like it's so this is going into a completely different conversation now, uh, where it's kind of like we're almost becoming soft or just sensitive.
Oh man, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just going into a completely new territory now.
Okay. Um like um what were you gonna go with that, like as far as like being soft and more progressive?
I was more aggressive. I guess I don't know. I feel like people become I feel like so it's a blessing that yes, we have all this access to information and research and stuff like that. But I feel like people get offended too easily, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, certainly.
Like
Like,
some people don't know how to take a joke, for example.
okay. Yeah, like I
So how do
feel
you feel
like
about that?
um I feel like there's like concern on both ends, right? So I feel like on one end there are people who are like certainly more sensitive than ever before. Like good gracious, like let's learn to have let's learn to not take ourselves so seriously. But um, on the other end, like this is probably like the most, I guess, forward and progressive that our society has been. And so you've had like these groups of people that have like been historically been written off or like ridiculed, discriminated against, who are finally having a chance to like have
Mm,
a voice and speak up and stuff. So like now is their chance to like speak up for themselves. And so it's like a weird tension between the two. So it's like these
mm,
people who have like they never had a voice before, but now they do, and they're starting to stand 10 toes for their rights and everything. And then you have the other end where it's like, okay, like yeah, we get that, but at the same time, like let's not take ourselves too seriously. Like we all can be joked on, you know. What I mean? Like
mhm.
it's cool to yeah. So like that's kind of the weird tension that we live in right now is like trying to find that common ground between the two. Yeah.
Yeah, like I know there's a lot of comedians,
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
like Dave Chappelle, like that man can never be
yeah.
canceled. Are you
Oh
also
boy.
familiar with this one other comedian YouTuber? His name is Long Beach Griffy. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, yeah, I know. Oh boy. Like he's a little bit more extreme. Like
He's-
his videos, my goodness. Not G rated, not PG rated. It's like
no,
X. X
X-rated, bro.
good
Bro.
gracious.
Oh, not gonna lie, his videos are funny though. Like but it's like it's very
It's crazy, man. He,
man. That
you're
man
not
can
allowed to
never
say
be
that.
canceled either.
And he be saying some wild stuff, man. I'm
No.
like, yo, very, very crazy. Very
Oh
crazy.
man. Oh, I kind of want to shift over now. So something I like to do on LKD Talks as well is I like to have this as a platform for other creatives or guests to share something that's been on their mind this past week as like a weekly journal entry, if you will.
Okay.
So what is something this week that's been heavy on your mind, light on your mind? Just been, yeah, just what's been on your mind in general this week?
What's been on my mind, man? I feel like this has been on my mind since last year, honestly. Is this like this posture of like gratefulness, like just being
Mm,
grateful to like get up in the morning and like have the freedom to do music or to like work on my passions and like what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there was a point in my life last year where like I don't know, like my life like based on certain choices or decisions that could have been made, my life could look completely different. But by God's grace, like I'm here, I'm breathing, I have the capability to work on my dream every day. And like I don't really have a whole lot to complain about. Like I can pay my bills and I'm able to like take care of myself. And so whoever's watching this, whoever, is tuned in, like just remember that like despite what you don't have yet, despite what you got going on, there are probably 10, 20 people who would kill to be in your spot. You know
mm,
what I mean? So like just be grateful of like where you're at. Take time to count your blessings and just thank God, that like you're here doing um what you want to do, like planning what you will be doing or should be doing in the future. And just take everything in stride, man. Learn from your mistakes. Love the people around you. You know what I'm saying? And just be thankful for like whatever you got going on in your life. So
mm.
that's what I got to share from the czar. From the czar
Man, that's
directly.
fire. Mic drop right there.
Drop, drop somebody.
That was fire.
Fuzzy.
I'm out.
All right, cut. We're good. We're
Yo,
good.
that was fire. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
that's good, man. Yo, gratefulness. That's good. That's good, man.
I'm
'Cause
grateful to be alive, man.
that's true, man.
For
Man,
sure.
Cause like, yo, man, I feel that too. I feel that too. Like I feel when you mentioned about how last year you were just kind of wishful thinking or just kind of thinking hard on things of what could have been. I feel that too, man, because I graduated
Yeah.
from college back in
Okay.
2021 of December. And
Okay.
like,
Congrats.
yeah, I got my degree over there, media arts
Uh-oh.
degree.
Yeah.
Just had to flex
Love
that
it.
real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just back there.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's what's
So
up.
like, yeah, man. So and then I thought I was gonna be working this media job,
Mhm.
working from home and stuff like that, but things just didn't work out. And
Right.
then now I'm working sales in a call center, which I'm not complaining about, like for now, because like it's a great way to build thick skin and stuff like that and
Mhm.
build confidence. And like I'm recognizing now that these are kind of necessary steps to be the person that I need to be, like, getting
Right.
thick skin from this job, learning sales skills and just learning how to be a smooth talker, sweet talker. And there's other things too. Like I thought I was gonna, because I went to school in Minnesota. So
Okay.
I thought I was gonna stay up there with all my friends, and but then when I came back down here to Madison, Wisconsin, I didn't know anybody at first. So
Okay.
like last year was completely new for me. I had to go out and make new friends because that whole college atmosphere evaporated
Right.
when I came back down to Madison, Wisconsin. So I was just like struggling to go to these different uh, young adult church community events. Like
Yeah.
it was hard, man. It was hard trying to go into this new territory.
For
But
sure.
now I'm looking back, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I went through that challenge uh to, just be who I am today. Like those little setbacks last year made me who I am today.
Sure.
And yeah, man. So just hearing you talk about just being grateful, uh, and not so hard pressed on things of what could have been is a good reminder. It's a good reminder to be like, dang, I've made a lot of progress to where I am.
Yeah. No, facts. Yeah. Like we have come a long way, my man. And the fact that we're still here to talk about it and um still have breath in our lungs and the ability to do something about it, like that's good. Like that's God's grace and we gotta be grateful for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that's good. Whew,
For
man,
sure, for sure.
just like do you do any grateful practices or any practices to remind you to be grateful?
Yeah. So like of course I had like my prayer time. Um I started like journaling. Like, I've been journaling for like a few months and like getting in the word. Um, and then I've started to like do like stretching and meditating in the morning,
Hmm.
kind of getting myself like ready for the day. And so, like during that time, I kind of go through like things I'm grateful for. During my prayer time, like first thing in the morning, I just thank God for another day. Like Lord, thank
Hmm.
you for breathing breath in my body again. So
Hmm.
like during those time periods is where I kind of go through the gratefulness. Like, how about you?
Hmm. For me, man, I would say I just recently started getting into just kind of just sitting there, meditating, just kind of like breathing in and out, just kind of thinking about it. Because there's
Mhm.
this, the Bible app, right? The YouVersion Bible app.
Yeah.
So like there would be some plans that would have a meditation, like a whole meditation plan. And I've never done any meditation before like that at all.
Cool.
So
Okay.
I would go into the plan, just kind of actually sit on the floor, cross-legged, or just like close my eyes and breathe in and out. And it feels so nice, man. Not gonna lie, it
Yeah.
feels really nice. I'm like, wow, this is relaxing.
That's great, man. It's
Yeah,
very chill. I love to see it. I love to see
yeah,
it.
man. Because I'm usually a multitasker who just does things as I'm
And go with
listening.
it.
Yeah, like I listen to the word as I drive and stuff like that, or listen to the word as I'm washing dishes or whatever. And like
Yeah.
it feels good to just actually sit in the word and just
Yeah.
breathe in and just meditate and just kind of be grateful. I was like, dang, that hit different.
Hmm. That's good, man. Yeah, like just finding time to just sit still and kind of like hear from God, and also just like sit in silence too helps too. So
Hmm.
yeah, man, I certainly recommend it.
Yeah, man. Just like going outside too, man. Especially now
Oh
that
yeah,
daylight savings started, man. Ooh, ooh.
praise God.
Praise
Yes,
God. Thank you, God. It's 6 p.m. and still sunny. Oh, let's go.
yeah, exactly. Like feel more alive. You know, you feel more connected to the earth.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Bro, those sunsets at 3 p.m. killed me. I was like, oh
I
no.
was like, nah, that's not it, man. This is not natural.
No.
Not
I need the
natural.
sun. Oh man. Oh, hey man, Josh, this was a great conversation. I'm glad I got to know
Yeah.
more about you, and we had a lot of fun. You're a funny guy, man. You're a funny guy.
Hey, same man. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Hey, thank you for having me on the show. This is a very good conversation. Very fulfilling as well. A highlight to my day, honestly. So I appreciate you for having me on and being able to connect with like a person that like has the same like unique issue that I have.
Yeah.
It's very refreshing. So thank you for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. You're absolutely welcome. Do you have anything that you want to plug or share any socials?
Yes. So I have a lot of music coming out, like a lot this year. Um, we're about to go crazy. We're already going crazy with the team. My bro Cam, he just dropped a new single called "End of the House." So go check out his new single. I'm finna drop a lot of stuff. Like whole Culture Village roster is gonna go crazy this year. But y'all can follow me on all social medias at Czar Josh Music. So CZARJOSH Music. And just stay tuned for all the stuff I have coming out for you guys. So thank you.
All right, awesome. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Yo, check out Czar Josh. He's an amazing individual. Yo, music goes so hard, man. Like I was listening to it as a workout uh right before the pod. But yeah, enough of that. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day and peace out. Peace.